mares that are in season can actually appear to be more likely to tie up than others. Obviously, if you've got a high carbohydrate diet, compare that with a high forage, a high fibre, particularly if your energy source is oil, which is a slower burning fuel. Those horses on the latter diets are far less likely to, because it seems to be a carbohydrate metabolism problem in the muscles. Horses that are exercised without being fully warmed up, and obviously now we're leaning towards important things for here, are more likely to tie up, and more likely to tie up badly. If you're warmed up and you tie up, it's often less for deal than if it happens when you're still cold.
Oh, right. Do you think there's other scenarios we're missing?
Yes, it's the glaring omission when we last met was the cross-training benefits of it as a training exercise, recruiting new muscle groups tool.
Which is presumably linked to the variable depths, is that right?
Absolutely, yes,
So we need to write something to state that explicitly.
Well, Hugh at Godolphin was saying yesterday that, I don't know, you know the chest muscles, obviously below, looking at a horse head on, neck, legs, and then those chest muscles
pectorals.
He said that they've noticed significantly an increase in the toning and the size, and I guess would that relate to then heart room, or how would that?
No, because that is an unfortunate, widely and long-held misconception, because effectively the heart room is defined by the rib cage, which obviously is a dynamic thing, but you can't make the ribs bigger, and they don't bend to any great degree during the horse's life.
Right. So what's the benefit then of building up those pecs? I
think, really and truly, it's all about core stability. And the sprinter, let's talk about people. The sprinter is going to benefit from doing other exercises. They will benefit from hurdling, they will benefit from doing press-ups, they'll benefit from swimming. All of these are just basically about recruiting new muscle groups and building up the general musculature. Now, that doesn't necessarily make you go faster, but it means that you've got a more stable frame.
Toned sort of machine, aren't you?
You're more balanced, and therefore you might then psychologically feel happier to push that further mile to go faster, but also from an anti-injury point of view, and if we're championing horse welfare here, you're less likely to injure yourself if you take an awkward step. All of the other muscles are ready and prepared to take that load.
How do you start working out which muscle groups are?
It depends how much you want to go into this, because the acid test would be performing studies involving things like electromyograms, where you can actually measure scientifically and completely irrefutably the activity of muscle fibres in different forms of exercise.
So I suppose you take sort of horses that are suffering from certain things and then just follow them through, or?
I think you could take the unfit horse and simply monitor where you could say, for a month, this horse will only go on the seawalker. And all other times it will only be doing what it was doing before we started this. And then you could measure these. Photographs are helpful, because as a horse's back develops, standing still at rest, it will have a different outline. And then there are more subjective things, like we can literally feel the tone of the muscle. And then there are other methods as well. Things like the Scanner machines developed in Russia can actually pick up on muscle activity as well. But the problem is, when you start talking about those sorts of devices, there is such division in the scientific community about whether they work or not that it's probably dangerous to use them to prove anything.